When reality gets strange, a journey through history's most unexplained events. On February 2nd, 1959, 9 experienced hikers set out into the Ural Mountains of Russia. They never came back. When rescue teams finally found their camp 3 weeks later, they discovered something that still haunts investigators today. The tent had been slashed open from the inside. The hikers had fled barefoot into sub-zero temperatures, running from something. Welcome everyone. I'm here today to take you on a journey through some of the world's most genuinely unexplained events. Not ghost stories or conspiracy theories, but documented incidents that have left scientists, investigators, and historians genuinely baffled. What you're about to hear isn't fiction. These are real events, real people, and real mysteries that remain unsolved to this day. The Dyatlov Pass Incident. Let me take you back to that mountain. The 9 hikers I mentioned, they were students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute. Experienced, prepared, led by Igor Dyatlov, a man who had made this journey before. When search teams found the tent, they discovered the hikers' belongings still inside. Boots, warm clothes, everything they needed to survive. Yet they had run. Desperately, about a mile away, they found the first 2 bodies under a cedar tree, wearing only underwear. Then 3 more, including Dyatlov himself, positioned as if they were trying to crawl back to the tent. But it's the final 4 victims that make this case truly inexplicable. They were found 2 months later in a ravine. And here's where it gets disturbing. One had massive chest trauma, force equivalent to a car crash. Another was missing her tongue and eyes. One had skull damage, yet there were no external wounds. No signs of a struggle with other people. The official Soviet investigation concluded they died from a compelling natural force. That's not an explanation. That's an admission that they had no idea what happened. Theories? Avalanche doesn't explain the tent cut from inside. Military testing doesn't explain the specific injuries. Animal attack doesn't match the evidence. 65 years later, we still don't know what those 9 people ran from that night. At the Oakville Blobs, now let's jump forward to August 1994, Oakville, Washington, a small town where something fell from the sky that nobody can explain. It wasn't rain. It was translucent, gelatinous blobs. They fell for 3 weeks straight, covering everything: streets, cars, homes. And then people started getting sick. Dottie Hearn, a local resident, was one of the first. After coming in contact with the substance, she developed severe flu-like symptoms and breathing difficulties. Her daughter, a nurse, also fell ill. Then her cat died. So what was it? The Washington Department of Health tested samples. They found human white blood cells. Human. In rain that fell from the sky. A second test found different results. Bacterial cells. When they tried to run a third test, all the samples had mysteriously degraded. Gone. No more evidence. The Air Force denied conducting any experiments in the area. Weather officials had no explanation for atmospheric conditions that could produce this. To this day, we don't know what fell on Oakville, or why it contained human cells. The Taos Hum. Have you ever heard a sound that nobody else can hear, that drives you slowly toward madness? Since the early 1990s, about 2% of residents in Taos, New Mexico have reported hearing a persistent, low-frequency humming sound. It's not in their heads. These are sane, credible people. Scientists, teachers, engineers. The hum, as it's called, is described as similar to a diesel engine idling in the distance. But here's what makes it unexplainable. When acoustic measuring equipment is brought in, it detects nothing. No sound. Complete silence. Yet the hearers can't sleep, can't concentrate. Some have moved away from Taos entirely, only to discover the hum follows them. Congress actually got involved in 1993, directing scientists and observers from various federal agencies to investigate. Teams from Los Alamos National Laboratory, the University of New Mexico, and other institutions conducted studies. Their conclusion? The hum is real to those who hear it, but they cannot determine its source or even prove it physically exists, and Taos isn't alone. Similar hums have been reported in Bristol, England, Windsor, Ontario, Largs, Scotland. Different continents. Same phenomenon. No explanation. The devil's footprints. Let me take you back further. February 8th, 1855, Devon, England. People woke up to find footprints in the snow. Not unusual, except these footprints appeared in a perfectly straight line for over 100 miles, passing through villages, over rooftops, across rivers, through walls, over haystacks, always continuing in the exact same direction. The prints were hoof-like, for inches long, in a single file. They appeared on top of snow-covered roofs of houses and narrow walls. They crossed the Exe River estuary, 2 miles wide, and continued on the other side in the exact same pattern. Here's what makes this impossible. Whatever made these tracks never deviated. It didn't walk around obstacles, it went through them or over them. The prints appeared on the tops of walls 14 feet high. They continued after crossing the river without any break in pattern. Naturalists were baffled. No known animal moves this way. The prints didn't sink into the snow deeply enough for something heavy, yet they covered distances that would require supernatural speed if made in a single night. Some said it was a hoax. But how do you coordinate a hoax across 100 miles of countryside in one night with perfect consistency? Others suggested it was a kangaroo, somehow escaped and bounding across England. But kangaroos don't leave hoof prints or walk in straight lines through walls. 170 years later, we still have no rational explanation to what do these stories tell us? The Dyatlov Pass Incident reminds us that even in our modern world, nature, or something else, still holds power that can overwhelm 9 prepared adults in minutes. The Oakville blobs show us that our skies might still drop things on us that we cannot identify or explain, things that contain traces of humanity itself. The Taos Hum proves that reality might not be the same for all of us, that some people experience a world slightly different from what our instruments can measure. And the devil's footprints? They whisper to us across centuries that maybe, just maybe, there are events so strange that they transcend our ability to explain them, no matter how much time passes. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. There must be explanations. We just haven't found them yet. And maybe you're right. Maybe someday we'll solve these mysteries with science we haven't developed yet. But here's what fascinates me. These aren't ancient myths or folklore. These are documented events with witnesses, investigations, physical evidence. The Dyatlov Pass has autopsy reports. Oakville has test results. The Taos Hum has congressional investigations. The Devil's Footprints have contemporary newspaper accounts and drawings. These events force us to hold 2 contradictory thoughts at once. We live in an age of unprecedented scientific understanding. And yet, reality still surprises us, still frightens us, still refuses to be fully explained. The next time someone tells you that we've figured everything out, that mystery is dead in our modern world. Remember these stories. Remember that 9 experienced hikers ran barefoot into a frozen mountain night. Remember that something fell from the sky in Oakville that we still can't identify. Remember that some people hear sounds that don't exist, and that once something walked across England in a perfectly straight line. The world is stranger than we think. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly how it should be. Thank you. I'm happy to take any questions, though I can't promise I'll have answers.